Hello and welcome to this week's edition of World of Business, your weekly guide to trending business news and latest developments on the stock market. We also get to cast the spotlight on unsung but thriving entrepreneurs on this show. As always, thank you very much for tuning in. The name is Bruce Chimbunde, and let's get straight into it. Zimbabwe's gross domestic product, GDP, rose by 2.9% to 45.7 billion in 2024. According to latest figures from the National Statistics Agency, Zimstat. We will look at this in detail in the second segment, but first, we give you the exchange rates as of today.
The Zimbabwe gold to the US dollar interbank rate was at 26.83 ZiG. The Zimbabwe gold to the Great Britain pound interbank rate was at 36.40 ZiG. The Zimbabwe gold to the euro interbank rate was at 31.35 ZiG. The Zimbabwe gold to the South African rand interbank rate was at 0.66 ZiG. And lastly, the Zimbabwe gold to the Botswana pula interbank rate was at 2.01 ZiG.
We also give you commodity prices on the global market.
Commodity prices as of today were: gold per ounce traded at $3,349 after it went up by 0.71 percentage points. Silver per ounce traded at $38.03 after it went up by 1.96 percentage points. Copper per pound traded at $555.80 after it went down by 0.59 percentage points. And lastly, platinum per ounce traded at $1,357 after it went down by 0.68 percentage points.
That's it for this first segment. Join us in the second segment as we get into our discussion. Welcome back to the second segment of World of Business. As alluded to earlier, we will be discussing the annual GDP figures for 2023 and 2024, as well as tracking progress of the National Financial Inclusion Strategy 2, running from 2022 to 2026, which is now past its midpoint. I'm joined by Mr. Persistence Gwanyanya, a member of the Monitary Policy Committee, as well as Dr. Frederick Hamadziripi, a senior finance law lecturer at the University of Zimbabwe. Gentlemen, thank you very much for taking time out to come and have this conversation with us.
Thank you, Bruce.
Thank you for having us.
We greatly appreciate you always taking time to come and have these kind of conversations with us. Perhaps let's start by assessing the progress with regards to Zimbabwe's GDP thus far.
Thank you. You would want to know that recently Zimstat has published the results of the economic census. The economic census is essentially to re-establish the reference point of our economy as regards national economic statistics. Now, the last base year that we were using is 2019. And as you may want to agree with me, there's been structural changes in the economy which warrant the change in the reference year as regards the national statistics, including GDP, as well as other national statistics. Because of that economic census, we have seen a change in the GDP numbers. They have been recalculated at the numbers you have highlighted. For 2023, for 2024, there's been changes in the economic numbers. GDP is now at 44.7, roughly 45 billion in 2024, which is a significant readjustment from the previous GDP basing on 2019 reference year of around 38 billion, thereabouts. But what gives you comfort is that at this level of 44.7 or 45 billion, we are almost around the projection, the estimates that IMF has always had on the economy.
All right.
Their
So
estimate was around
that essentially says we're on course.
what their estimate was around $47 billion.
All right.
You may have heard about the debate and the concerns around the differences between the IMF GDP projections and our own statistics as government,
Yes.
which is the statistics coming out from Treasury, our Ministry of Finance, that is on budget, which were significantly lower than IMF's projections.
All right.
And that essentially reflects the need for the economy to be rebased.
Yes.
It essentially reflected that we were basing our economy on now what was now unrealistic
All right.
reference
All right.
because of the structural changes that happened in between. Now,
You
what are
continue
these
to talk
structural
about
changes?
structure. Yes, I was going to get to
So
that.
these structural changes relate to the shift of our economy into the informal sector.
All right.
The economy has increasingly shifted into the informal sector.
All right.
So
Yes.
with the new census, they are trying to capture that.
You've also
economy.
co-opted data from
Yes.
the informal sector.
So by including
Yes.
that economy in the alternative
Yes.
sector, you find out that we have seen an increase in the GDP numbers,
All right.
merely reflecting that there is increased economic activity or high economic levels of economic activities happening in the formal sector.
All right.
And I hope this insight will give policymakers the basis to relook some of the policies,
Some of the policies that, all right.
as the economy,
All right.
the fiscal policies and the monetary policies, to try and capture the revenue that is sloshing the economy outside the formal economy.
All right.
So it contributes positively.
And I think
to
it
the
takes us back to the
fiscals.
conversation of incentivizing formalization.
Yes.
And perhaps, Doc, you would also want to come in to talk about, we're talking about the rise by 2.9% to 45.7 billion in 2024 from 44.4 billion in 2023. Do you perhaps have other factors that you can attribute this rise, apart from what Mr. Gwanyanya has spoken about?
Oh yes, thank you, Bruce. There are several factors that we can contribute that growth to.
Yes.
I will touch on three of them. If you look at the agricultural sector, there's been growth there, taking into consideration that we are coming from the El Nino, that is from late 2023 to early 2024, and to such a time when that was actually declared a national disaster. But we have seen a rebound in terms of the agricultural sector. That's number one. Number two, we've also seen increased investment, especially in the mining sector. That's with respect to lithium and steel production. So there's been growth there. Then number three, we've also seen an improved availability of electricity, which obviously spurs productivity in the manufacturing sector.
As well as in the agricultural sector.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dr. Ahmad Zripi talks about the mining sector, growth in the mining sector. So let's perhaps draw this down to figures. Mining grew by 12.9%, contributing 14.3% of GDP. So can we safely say that mining can sustain GDP growth given projected declines in platinum, lithium prices, as well as ongoing energy costs, Doc?
Yeah,
Gwanyanya, that is.
so the growth in the mining sector
Yes.
and issues relating to the depressed
Prices.
global commodity prices,
Yes.
mineral prices, to be specific,
Yes.
only highlight the risk that confronts our economy
All right.
that we need to address,
All right.
which is basically the need to climb up the value chain
Yes.
and increase value addition and beneficiation
All right.
in the manufacturing sector.
Manufacturing sector.
But it is also important to highlight the developments that happened in the manufacturing sector
Most certainly, yes.
that helped us withstand the pressure from the depressed global commodity prices.
Yes.
There's been significant increase in investment, firstly, in the manufacturing sector, which also reflects the
both in the formal
richness
and
of
informal
our
sectors.
country in terms of what has been commanded to our care by the Creator.
Yes.
The minerals that we have, more than 60 minerals that are well sought out
Yes.
in the global economy. So there's been increased investment, billions of investment into platinum production, billion of investments into lithium production, gold production, among other minerals.
I always like to bring things down to figures. The mining sector accounted for 15.6%, up from 15.3%. What policies can we say assisted in getting us there?
Yeah, so we have also...
Or like perhaps to rephrase this, what have we done right and what could we do better? Yes.
The government has always been encouraging value addition and beneficiation. But value addition and beneficiation to work out, there are also other considerations that the businesses would have to take into account before they embark on those expensive ventures. Now, I think the question of even stability becomes quite key in motivating sustainably the imperative of value addition and beneficiation.
I see Dr. Hamadziripi nodding. I think he's very eager to come into the conversation as well. Dr. Hamadziripi, your thoughts on this matter?
We have seen increased in investment in almost all the major sectors of the economy. Talk of agriculture, mining, manufacturing. So those are the fundamentals of the economy that will, in the long run, ensure that the economy is one, sustainable, and also that inflation is brought down to manageable levels.
All right, gentlemen, allow me to turn to our audience. We're going to take a short break, and World of Business will be right back for the third and final segment. Welcome back to the third and final segment of World of Business. As alluded to earlier, we are discussing the annual GDP figures for 2023 and 2024, as well as tracking progress of the National Financial Inclusion Strategy 2, which is running from 2022 to 2026, and it is now past its midpoint. I'm still joined by Mr. Persistence Gwanyanya, a member of the Monitary Policy Committee, and Dr. Frederick Hamadziripi, a senior finance law lecturer at the University of Zimbabwe. Gentlemen, thank you very much for staying with us. I'm going to come back to you, Mr. Gwanyanya. With dollar inflation in January 25 hitting 14.6%, what are the ripple effects on GDP growth, purchasing power, and business costs? And perhaps do you have recommendations in terms of how we can do things better?
The elevated dollar inflation largely reflects the pricing practices prior to the introduction of ZIG, and in a more volatile environment. The pricing practices were mainly based on the parallel market exchange rate, as the enterprising individuals were trying to achieve the parallel market in their pricing. But that phase is no longer there. That phase is now gone.
Past it.
We've moved past it. We've been having stability for more than a year now, thanks to the introduction of ZIG, but also to the prudent monetary policy and as well as fiscal policy measures by the monetary authorities and the fiscal authorities. And we expect now inflation to start slowing down.
All right.
Inflation, including the US dollar inflation, to subside.
Yes.
That's our expectation.
Do you have rough estimates of where you foresee the inflation, going down to?
We have got the ZIG inflation,
Yes.
which we expect to end the year at less than 30%.
All right.
But also, is that ZIG inflation is now well managed.
All
We
right.
expect the US dollar to also soften, US dollar inflation
All
to also soften on account of the disinflation program at the central bank.
All right.
So, but we have now seen significant progress relating to the month-on-month inflation.
All right.
And this also relates to increased competition on account of the liberalization of the pricing mechanisms.
Yeah.
The central bank liberalized the exchange rate.
Yes.
The fiscal authority also deregulated pricing.
Yes.
In the past, pricing was based on a certain percentage of the interbank exchange rate.
Yes.
That no longer applies.
Okay.
And we expect that to instead increase competition amongst players
All right.
in business. And as increased competition happens, we expect even the US dollar inflation to fall.
And it also
going
creates
forward.
value for the consumers. I'm
Yes,
sure.
it creates value for the consumers.
All right. Let's talk about the 2024 monetary policy statement. How has it integrated the priorities, especially the priorities of the national financial inclusion strategy, especially with regards to marginalized groups like women, the youth, and rural communities?
So the question on national inclusion
Yes.
relates largely to the structure of the economy that I was talking about,
All right. Yes.
which was exposed by the economic census,
All right. Yes.
that our economy is now largely informal.
Informalized. All right.
And as a result, we need mechanism to get more people who are informalized access formal financial services.
Financial services.
And also use those formal financial services, which speaks to
And hopefully that
national
can
financial
also
strategy.
be an incentive for formalization.
Yes. And that speaks to the national strategy,
Yes.
the national financial inclusion strategy
All
too.
right.
Beyond national financial inclusion strategy
Yes.
1, which was mainly on access of financial service sector, financial services from the formal sectors.
All right.
You also now want to see utilization, increased uptake
All right.
of those financial services.
All
But
right.
as that happens, we are capturing the informal sector. So
Right.
it starts to contribute significantly to the GDP of
GDP.
the country.
All right.
Now, the situation that confronts us
Yeah.
is not a health one.
All right.
And this is reflected by the statistic relating to revenue to GDP.
All right.
Our revenue to GDP is around 16% or above 16%.
16%.
But for countries such as ours, developing countries such as ours, revenue to GDP ratio should be between 10 and 15%.
So it means we're above that.
At 16%, it means our GDP we have got relative to
Yes.
the revenue. Our GDP is lower,
All right.
meaning the revenue contribution is coming from
It's shrinking.
significant small constituents
All right.
or small players in the economy.
All right.
So this speaks to the need to increase our GDP as a country.
Yes.
And one of the ways of increasing GDP is to also capture that GDP,
All right.
to come up with incentives that captures the GDP outside the formal service
Formal service.
sectors.
All right. All right.
Yes.
All right. Let me come to you, Doc Hamad Zilipi. What key indicators, for example, number of active and low-cost, bank accounts should be tracked in 2024 to measure the national financial inclusion strategy's performance?
Thank you so much, Bruce. There are several key indicators that we can refer to as we look at the performance or at the realization of the objectives of the National Financial Inclusion Strategy 2. Number one, you want to look at the appropriateness of the financial products and services that are available to the financial consumers. Because as we look at financial inclusion, it's not only the availability of the services and product, but we also have to consider the appropriateness of them. That's number one. Number two, we also have to look at the affordability of such products. Are they affordable? Remember, we are looking at a population that is mixed. We have those who are in rural areas and even those who are in informal settlements. So these financial products that are there in the market, are they affordable? Are they accessible to almost
Can we also,
everyone?
in this instance, Dr. Hamad Ziripi, talk about issues to do with digital literacy, for instance?
Yes. So what happens is we also have to consider the level of financial literacy. Is the population or the financial consumers, are they educated enough to
because I
understand?
might have my gogo in Chirumanzo or my gogo in Mbuzia, who probably does not understand how to use some of these services, notwithstanding that they are actually available, but they might not actually have information in terms of how they can access them, and beyond that, how they can actually make use of them.
And it's not only limited to that group of people. You also have to consider even SMEs. We've had a lot of SMEs that actually closed down in the first 5 years. Some of them would have been found on loans. Right. So without financial literacy, they may not understand, or they may not be able to be in a position to know what to do when accessing lending facilities or credit lines. So that also comes into play.
Still on the National Financial Inclusion Strategy 2, which is actually approaching its midpoint. What should be the priority shift for 2025 to 2026, particularly around deepening usage and ensuring sustainability? Yeah,
actually it's approaching the penultimate stage, because we are looking at 2022 to 2026. All right. But if we look at the National Financial Inclusion Strategy 1, we had, like what Mr. Gwanyanya indicated, it was based on access to these financial products and services. So we saw a lot of traction in that regard, especially with respect to access of financial products and services for women, where we witnessed the registration of the Zimbabwe Women's Microfinance Bank, which is a critical factor in terms of access to finance for women. But now I think we should also shift our focus to the youths. They are also a critical group in the population.
Most certainly. Number one,
they form part of the majority of the current and future workforce. Number two, they are innovative. Number three, they adapt easily. And number four, these are a group of people that still have more time to invest in education and skills acquisition. So I think the focus should also shift to focus on the youths. We've had a lot of reports about the youth being affected by drug abuse and such. So if the policy is to shift more to focus on this group of people, and also financial literacy for almost everyone, including SMEs as well, that could assist us.
Thank you very much, Dr. Hamad Ziripi. Allow me to also thank you, Mr. Gwanyanya, for taking time out to come and have this conversation with us here. The key word there seems to be issues to do with inclusion. I was speaking there to Mr. Persistence Gwanyanya, who is a member of the Monitary Policy Committee, and Dr. Frederick Hamad Ziripi, a senior finance law lecturer at the University of Zimbabwe. And we were discussing issues to do with Zimbabwe's GDP between 2023 and 2024, and trying to see what we can do better going forward. This has been World of Business. Thank you for tuning in. Until next time, have a pleasant viewing.